If you actually understand basic algebra, you should be able to solve this equation at least partially. Alright, so let's take a look at the problem. We have 2 to the x power is equal to x squared. Now, if you want to go ahead and give this a try, go ahead and pause the video and see if you can find values of x that makes this statement true. In other words, when you plug in this value, this side of the equation is equal to this side of the equation. So don't guess, actually try a few simple numbers, and I think most people who attempt this problem will find at least 2 answers. But here's the catch, there's actually 3 solutions, and finding that third answer, well, that's not going to be so easy. Matter of fact, finding that third answer is going to be what separates those that have basic algebra skills from a deeper mathematical understanding of what is actually going on here. Alright, so let's go ahead and walk through this step by step. Let's start with the values that most people will find. So what we're looking for here is values of x such that this side is equal to this side. So what we can do here is test some simple numbers for x. So like numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. So let's plug in a 1 for x and see what happens. Well, we're going to end up with 2 to the first is equal to 1 squared. So now we have to ask ourselves, is this true or false? So 2 to the first, of course, is 2, and 1 squared is 1. So 2 is not equal to 1. So this is false. Therefore, 1 is not a solution. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue to test these simple numbers. How about 2? So we'll plug in 2 for x and see what will happen. All right, so here we're going to end up with 2 squared is equal to 2 squared. All right, so this looks pretty good. So 2 squared is what? Well, this is 4, and 2 squared, of course, is 4. So this is true. So 2 is a solution. All right, so let's go ahead and continue on and test 3. So 3 is going to yield what? Well, we'll end up with 2 cubed is going to be equal to 3 squared. So again, what I'm doing here is I'm plugging the value of 3 for x right here in the exponent spot and 3 over here in the base part of this power. So 2 cubed is what? Well, that's 2 times 2 times 2, or 8. And 3 squared is what? That's 9. So 8 is not equal to 9. So 3 is not a solution. All right, so far we have 2 as a solution. And let's go ahead and test 4. So when we test 4, we're going to end up with 2 to the 4th power. Is this equal to 4 squared? Well, 2 to the 4th is what? Well, this is 2 times 2 times 2. That's 8 times 2. This is 16. So 2 to the 4th is 16, and 4 squared is 16. So 4 is a solution as well. Okay, so we already have 2 solutions, and honestly, this is pretty good. And a lot of people would stop right here and say the solutions are both 2 and 4, but they would be missing something. And what they're missing is that last root, or that last solution, and it's not that obvious that we even have one. Okay, so how are we going to find this? Well, what we need to do here is shift from algebraic thinking to thinking graphically. Let's start off with a basic example to see that we can actually solve algebraic equations graphically. All right, so what we have here is a 2-variable linear system. So we have y is equal to x plus 1 and y is equal to negative x plus 3. So what we're looking for here is the values of x and y that make both of these equations true. Now, in basic algebra, you learn to solve things like this using methods like the substitution method and a linear combination method. And these methods are perfectly fine, but you can also solve this equation graphically. And by the way, this right here is the solution to the equation. So 1, 2. Remember, we're looking for x, y values that make both of these equations true. So 1, 2 is the ordered pair x, y. All right, so it is a coordinate or a point on the x, y plane. So x is equal to 1 and y is equal to 2. So how do we solve this equation graphically? Well, basically all we need to do is graph both of these equations on the xy plane very carefully and look for the point of intersection. All right, now when we do this, you want to use graph paper. So here is a basic sketch of what's going on. So y is equal to x plus 1 is going to be a line, and 1 right here is the y-intercept. Of course, you need to know how to do some basic graphing in algebra, but y is equal to x plus 1 is this yellow line right here. So it's going to go through 1 on the y-axis and have a slope of 1, or a 45-degree angle as its slope. Okay, so y is equal to negative x plus 3, has a y-intercept of 3, which is right there, and has a slope of negative 1, which is a 45-degree angle running in this direction. All right, now if we plot these lines very carefully on graph paper, we'll see the point of intersection is 1, 2. All right, so the point 1, 2 satisfies both of these equations. In other words, when x is equal to 1 and y is equal to 2, both of these equations are true. So let's just go ahead and test that real quick over here in this equation. So when y is equal to 2, we would have 2 is equal to negative, x would be equal to 1 plus 3, right? So this is going to be 2 is equal to negative 1 plus 3. Negative 1 plus 3, of course, is 2. So 2 is equal to 2, so this checks out. And then over here, when y is 2 and x is 1, we have 1 plus 1 is 2. So 2 is equal to 2. Now let's take a look at an example that is slightly more interesting than the previous. So this time, instead of having two lines that intersect, here we have a parabola which is U-shaped. And here, of course, is a linear equation which is a line. So we have to think about what would the intersection of these two graphs look like. Well, we would have a parabola and a line, maybe something like this. So we're going to have 2 points of intersection, and indeed these are the solutions to this system. So if we can graph this parabola and this line and find the points of intersection, we will have solved this nonlinear system. Now, to solve this algebraically is a little bit more involved than to solve a two-variable linear system. But when you do, you'll see that these here are the actual solutions. So these are the points of intersection. And of course, we're going to have 2 here because if we have a line going through a parabola, we'll have 2 points of intersection. So let's go ahead and take a look at these graphs on graph paper. Okay, so here is y is equal to x squared. Again, this is a parabola that goes through the origin. Now, if you don't know how to graph things in algebra, you can always use a simple XY table of values, or you could use a graphing calculator. But the big point that I'm trying to communicate here is that when you can graph a function and locate the point of intersection between 2 or more functions or 2 or more equations, those points of intersection are the solution. All right, so y is equal to x plus 2 is this blue line right here. And you can see that we did this very carefully on graph paper, and the points of intersection, i.e. the solutions, are negative 1, 1, and 2, 4. All right, so the big principle here is that you can solve equations graphically in algebra. So let's go back to our original equation. So we had 2 to the x is equal to x squared. Now, we were pretty lucky to be able to test some values and see that both 2 and 4 work, because these expressions right here are pretty simple. So again, we were able to test values like 1, 2, 3, and 4 and see that both 2 and 4 are solutions. But to get to this third solution, we're going to have to think graphically. Now, a quick little aside here, this type of equation in mathematics is called a transcendental equation. And that is a big fancy word that basically talks about equations like this. So this is an exponential equation. It's not a polynomial equation like this over here. So typically when we have like polynomial equations, we can use direct algebraic methods to solve them. But when we have exponential equations, we can use algebra to solve these as well. But when we combine these, it gets much more difficult to solve. And typically you can't use standard algebraic methods to solve these type of equations. So the way we do solve these type of equations is to use graphing, numerical methods, and approximation. And this is a whole independent study of mathematics. Okay, so the main idea here is that we want to look at the graphs of these two expressions or these two functions. All right, so here we have an exponential equation, and the general graph of an exponential equation looks something like this. And then over here we have a parabola, a quadratic equation, and it looks generally like this. So we have 2 to the x power. So we want to think of this as y is equal to 2 to the x. And then over here we have x squared. We can think of this as y is equal to x squared. Now, even if you don't know how to graph these functions, or if you don't know the general graph of these functions, you can always create a simple table of values x, y, and plug in a bunch of numbers and basically connect the dots and you'll get a graph. So in other words, we can plug in like -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3. We could plug in these values for x into this equation, and then once we do this math, we'll have our y values, and then these are all x, y points that we can plot on the xy coordinate plane, and then of course we can kind of connect the dots and get the graph. So anytime you want to construct a graph of anything, you can always use a table of values. Okay, now that's one way you can do it, or you can use a graphing calculator or computer. But the main idea here is that we need to get the graph of both of these independent functions. All right, now here are the graphs of these functions on the xy plane. Now I got this graph from a computer, but you don't need to use a computer to figure this out. Now if you have a graphing calculator, you could certainly use that. But if you only had graph paper and you took your time to construct pretty accurate graphs using a table of values, you can still get the right answer. All right, so y is equal to x squared is this orange graph right here. It is our parabola. And then we have y is equal to 2 to the x. So that is the blue line. This is this exponential function. So remember we had two solutions, i.e. two intersection points, and that was 2 and 4. All right, so these are 2 points of intersection. So 2 and 4 are good solutions. And here is our other solution right here. So this solution is somewhere between 0 and -1. All right, so how do we actually find this value? Well, this is not going to be that complex. What we're going to do is simply test values. So we have to start off by a good guess here. And if it was me, I would probably guess something like a -0.75. But we're going to practice a few things here. We're going to practice plugging in different values so we can get closer and closer to the actual solution. All right, so let's take a look at that math right now. Before we continue on, let's just kind of review the big picture concepts here. We're looking for values of x such that the left-hand side is going to be equal to the right-hand side. So we saw that when x is equal to 2, this will make the left-hand side equal to the right-hand side because 2 squared is equal to 2 squared, or 4 is equal to 4. All right, so now we have to find that last value of x that makes this situation true, or makes the left-hand side equal to the right-hand side. Now the way we're going to do this is write this as a function, and I'll explain why in a second. So we're going to move this x squared over to the other side. So now we have the function f of x is equal to 2 to the x is minus x squared. Now remember, we're looking for values of x that makes this side equal to this side in value. So when we look at this expression right here, 2 to the x minus x squared, and if we want both of these values to be the same, effectively what we're doing is taking something and subtracting it from itself, like 4 minus 4, right? So when x is equal to 2 right here, we'll end up with 4 minus 4. So if I had this function, f of x is equal to 2 to the x minus x squared, and I evaluated it for f of 2, I would get 0, right? Because I would end up with 4 minus 4, or 0. Okay, so this is going to really help us out because now we're going to test values of x on this graph, and we're going to be looking for values that get us pretty close to 0 or exactly to 0, and this is how we're going to find that last solution. So here is our function. We have f of x is equal to 2 to the x power minus x squared. So I'm going to spare you all the math here, but I did say that we were going to test a few points, and we had to kind of take a guess on the graph for x values that appear to be the intersection point of the parabola and exponential function. So remember, I thought a good guess would be like -0.75, but we'll test various values so you can get the right idea. Now we're going to test these values right here into this function, right? So for example, I want to find f of -0.5. I'm going to plug in a -0.5 into these x values and then do all the math, all right? All right, so again, I'm not going to do all the number crunching. I'm just going to show you the final answer. But if you want to pause the video and practice, that is fine. So f of negative 0.5 is going to be equal to 2 to the negative 0.5 power minus parentheses and negative 0.5 squared. And when you do that, you'll end up with a positive 0.457. So remember, we're looking for values that are going to get us pretty close to 0. Because again, if we have f of 2, we're going to end up with 4 minus 4, which of course is 0, right? So the equation that we're trying to solve is saying that this thing is equal to this thing. And if we subtract the same thing from one another, we're going to end up with a 0. So we have to kind of keep this in mind because this number crunching can get kind of complex. All right, so let's try f of negative 0.75. This is a much more reasonable guess based upon the graph. So we'll end up with 2 to the negative 0.75 power minus parentheses negative 0.75 squared. And when we do this number crunching, certainly you need to do this on a calculator, we'll end up with 0.031. All right, so this is pretty good. Now we have a 0 here, but we can even make this more accurate. So how about negative 0.77? Okay, so when we plug in negative 0.77 into our function, we'll end up with negative 0.007. Okay, so this can continue on and on if you want a more accurate answer, but a good approximation for this last answer is negative 0.77. So if you got something close to this, well, that is fantastic. And so let's go back to our graph up here. And again, I didn't really need to test a negative 0.5, but if you didn't have the most accurate graph, okay, so for example, let's say you used graph paper and your graph kind of maybe crossed right here, the intersection point of this parabola and exponential function was like right here, well, maybe you thought it would be like a negative 0.5, but of course you would test that. So you should be able to at least determine, based upon a reasonably accurate graph, that these two graphs would cross between negative 1 and 0. All right, so this is it, and I know this kind of took us in kind of a little bit of an advanced direction, but a lot of this is not beyond your ability to learn, right? So what I just talked about right here is stuff that someone studying mathematics will learn in a course like numeric analysis, and that is a college level course, but I just kind of basically gave you a very good introduction to some of the main concepts in that course. All right, now if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you need help in mathematics, I have like 4,000 different videos on my YouTube channel, from basic math to advanced math and everything in between. But my best math help will always be in my full main math courses. You can find links to them in the description of this video. Okay, so with all that being said, I definitely wish you all the best in your math adventures. Thank you for your time and have a great day.